Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you doing today? Happy Saturday. I hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend, and as always, I hope it's full of reading. As you guys know, I have been super busy with work, so I am a little behind on reading and I'm a little late to get a video to you, so I apologize. Life just is flying by, let's just say that. It is cold here. It is about to rain again, and to be honest, I am ready for the rain to go away. I know we need the water. California can't complain about too much rain, but I'm ready to spend some time outside in the sun. It has been nothing but chilly and wet for quite some time. Thank gosh I don't have to deal with snow. I would be miserable. I would be miserable. Today's video is actually super exciting for me because I've been trying to figure out how to start this series for you guys. I have been really wanting to do some videos where I focus and sort of highlight some of my favorite independent publishers. Now, I couldn't quite figure out how to do that. But then today I was lucky enough to receive a book in the mail from Europa Editions. You guys know how much I love them. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to use this as an impetus to sort of start a series where I focus on these small independent publishers that I adore. Now, I love Europa Edition. If you guys were in my reading room with me, you'd know I have a whole section over here that is all my Europa Editions. Now, I can't clearly talk to you guys about every book Europa has published. That video would take days. I can't even talk to you about all of them that I own. So what I thought I would do is I would highlight 4 books that have come out over the years that you may have missed or you may have heard of and you haven't been able to pick up. And then I would talk about the book they sent me in the mail today because it is out and it sounds absolutely fantastic. So I tried to mix it up. What I love about Europa is that they definitely have a variety of type of things that they publish. They publish literary fiction, historical fiction. They've started the YA series with Christelle Dabos. They have things that are more thriller-like in nature. They are everywhere from, you know, books published in Japan and translating into English to anywhere across Europe, to books that are across the United States that are just wonderful. I've never read anything by Europa Editions that I didn't absolutely love. What I also love about them, just being honest, is that they bring a lot of titles from the UK and Europe over to me that I wouldn't get otherwise, which just makes my little heart so happy. So I really tried to be sort of eclectic in mixing up the books that I'm going to talk to you guys about today. Hopefully, some of them you guys haven't read. I hope if you have read them, that you'll encourage people to read them in the comments down below as well. And without further ado, let's get started. The first book I want to tell you about is Old Filth by Jane Gardam. Now, this was shortlisted for the Orange Prize in 2005. I believe it was originally published in 2004, or the copyright was 2004, and it was the Europa edition came out in 2006. Jane Gardam is actually a pretty well-known author, and Europa Editions has published a number of her books. So if you really like Old Filth and you like the way she writes, you'll be able to find a number of her books there at Europa. Now, Old Filth is the story of Sir Edward Feathers. He is in his 80s. He is in his younger years, he was a lawyer in Hong Kong. Old Filth was the nickname given to him. Filth stands for failed in London, try Hong Kong. But he ends his career as a judge on the bench in Great Britain. Now, he is widowed and he's in his 80s, and he starts to sort of reflect on his life and sort of his childhood and sort of what was missing and what made him the person that he is or was throughout his youth and is today. And so that's what this is. You guys know I absolutely adore a book that is about an older person sitting down to tell us about their life. I love books with older people as the narrators. It's just my cream on all of my crop. You know what I like. You know what I mean. That was a horrible metaphor. Everyone I know that has read this has always recommended it, and it's got a sense of humor to it. It's just so good. It really is so good. So that's Old Filth by Jane Gardam, and if you like it, they have a bunch of her stuff, so you can really get to know her even better. The next book on this list came out in 2010, shortlisted for the Booker Prize, In a Strange Room by Damon Galgut. Now, this is, Damon Galgut is a South African writer, and this book is about a young boy who is traveling across countries. I believe he's in Africa, Switzerland, Greece, India, really trying to identify and find himself. And as he is traveling, he gets caught up with different groups of travelers that he learns about them, but at the same time learns about himself. This book is darker in nature and beautifully, beautifully written. And let's just take a moment and that cover, that absolutely beautiful cover. So this is Damon Galgut's In a Strange Room. And I don't know that I have read a ton of South American authors. I will say Coetzee is one of my absolute favorite authors. I've read a ton of books by him. I've read some other stuff, but I'm really interested in expanding that horizon. So if you have recommendations, please leave them below. But Europa brought this one to my library, and that is In a Strange Room by Damon Galgut. Okay. Next on the list, we're going to go to the Pacific Northwest of the United States, and that is Shelter in Place by Alexander Maksik, and I'm saying that wrong. Maksik. Apologize, Alexander. This is the story of a young boy who is 21 years old. What is his name? I want to say Joseph. Yep, Joseph March. He's 21. He's graduated from college, and he is diagnosed with bipolarism. And as he's starting to suffer with that, his mother is in an altercation where she beats a stranger to death with a hammer. I think that it's pretty straightforward. It's in the little blurb here, so it's not giving too much away. Joseph moves to a small town where his mother is being kept, taking with him a woman that he is madly in love with. But his mom's situation has turned her into a weird type of celebrity. And also this woman that he's in love with is really enamored by his mother as well. And she convinces him to do something, let's just say, that will change their life forever, using that sort of phrasing. This is a beautifully written book, as you can tell. God, I love things. The Pacific Northwest is just gorgeous as it is. And Alexander does an amazing job of creating that world for you. And there's a lot. This book is a heftier book, and it definitely you can really sink your teeth into it. So if you're looking for something a little longer to get lost into, may I recommend Shelter in Place by Alexander Maksik. Saying that wrong. Next, we're over to Italy for the novel The Revolution of the Moon by Andrea Camilleri. And this is translated from the Italian by Stefan Sartorelli. This is the story set in 1667, I want to say. 1677, King Carlos III's viceroy on the deathbed names his wife his successor. And she takes over running Palermo. And she comes into it really, really with the know-it-all and the intelligence to run this town and change it for the better. It's got a lot of stuff going on, poverty and filth and all that kind of stuff. And she really wants to make it a better place. However, she's fighting the patriarchy and the church, and her reign lasts for one lunar cycle or 27 days before she is sent back to Spain. That is in the blurb, so you guys are not being anything spoiled there. But this is that story, and it is beautifully translated from the Italian, and it just has a sense of a time and a place and a very strong, fascinating main character. So that is The Revolution of the Moon by Andrea Camilleri, translated from the Italian by Stephen Sartorelli. And this is, yeah, definitely worth your time if you're looking for some historical fiction to get yourself into. Last but not least is the book that arrived today, and that is No More Boats by Felicity Castana. And I'm going to hold that up there. Castana, I'm saying that wrong. This is out of Australia. And I don't know a ton about this one because it's just arrived, so I am going to read the blurb on it. But Jacqueline, my friend, recommended it for you, and it's time for us to do that buddy read, as we talked about. But let me read to you about this one. It says, set in Sydney's working-class western suburbs, No More Boats is a vivid portrait of a family whose unraveling collides with a crisis known as the Tampa Affair. When over 400 refugees were left stranded 15 miles off the Australian coast as debate over their legitimate entry into the country raged, Antonio, a recently unemployed Italian immigrant, awkwardly assumes a starring role in the fracas and drags into the spotlight his wife Rose, who has a rich backstory of her own, and their two children, Nico and Claire, who are both drifting. Manipulated by the media and made vulnerable by his feelings of irrelevance, Antonio commits an act that makes him a lightning rod for the factions at odds over the Tampa Affair. yeah, that sounds freaking amazing. And yeah, I started reading this the minute it came in. I think this has a lot of political relevance currently in Australia too, and the story that it's telling. So that is No More Boats by Felicity Castana. And this is actually out now. It came out in February. So even though I just got it in the mail, you can get your copy too. So that is 5 books by Europa Editions that are all absolutely fantastic. And I hope every single one of them makes it on your TBR. Please order them. Order them from Europa. Order them from your independent bookstore. Have your library order them. Support this amazing publisher. I absolutely love them. As always, I wish you guys happy reading. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope that this video enlightens you to stay around and wants you to see some more. If you are a return subscriber, thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, until next time, happy reading, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.